Okay, well, in theory, I'm here. I did test all this stuff ages and ages ago. So I guess we'll see. In theory, I got the audio balance right. Well, I didn't put a little guy in the corner. I really should put a little guy in the corner. I'm gonna just grab a little guy, put him in the corner. It's very professional. This. I'm just gonna call him a little guy. Put him in the corner there. It's fair. It's okay. It's just like one of you watching, so I can do this. We can do this. It's all good. Um, there's actually a couple of you watching. Hi everyone. I hope everyone's having just the loveliest time. Um, let's little guy. Uh, little guy here. We don't want him to be a disruptive little guy. But we'll put a little guy in there, right? I hope everyone's having just a lovely weekend. Obviously, once the game gets started, let me know what the audio balance is like. I've tested this before with a friend, but I guess we'll see how it goes. So this is Pharaoh, a new era. And yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar, Pharaoh was a game that came out in, oh gosh, something like 1999. I think, or thereabouts. One of the old Sierra city building games like Caesar and Zeus. And I'm just going to call myself Armchair. Like this guy looks quite fierce. And it's been around forever and ever and ever. I've played it before. I've played it loads before. It was actually the first PC game that I ever got um, as a demo. It came as a demo on like Age of Empires. Or something. I can't remember. It wasn't Age of Empires. Something like that. And I played it and I loved it. And then I got the full version. Um, right. Okay. So let's get on with it. I've played a couple of missions just to get a feel for it, and there's a few interesting changes. Right. So yeah, you play as the head of a family across multiple generations. Gaining in power and prestige as you go, starting in the pre-dynastic era, so no actual pharaohs. The first few missions serve as a tutorial, and these are, I think I've played three or four of these. I know them well. It's not a sequel; it's a remaster. The graphics are a bit different, and they've remastered the music. And I've got to say, the music in the original game was generally really, really good, but it was all MIDI. I don't actually know if they've orchestrated it for the remaster, but it sounds a lot better either way. Um, the graphics are controversial because, well, you'll see. I love this art. I love the splash screen art. No problem with that. Yeah, so this guy's going to just tell me all about ancient Egypt. So the first thing to note is this is not an educational game. Um, it's not really based on simulating the ancient Egyptian economy. The most notable thing being that there's just currency. It's 3500 BC. It says BC, nothing I can do about that. And there's coinage. Don't know why. I mean, I know why. It's because it's a resource that you'd be familiar with, but it's not correct. There is another game that came out that was called. I'm supposed to do this in a specific way, aren't I? That was called Immortal Cities Children of the Nile. And that had a little bit more to do with the actual ancient Egyptian economy, actual ancient Egyptian society. Um, so there wasn't money. It very much worked the way you'd want it to work in ancient Egypt, which is where it's essentially a system of barter. Um, with some people earning a living based on, well, they're farmers and they just, their family gets a share of what they farm. And then other people get their food by making things to trade for food or by being paid directly from the government salary. That's not what this game is. This game is you have money and you can pretend that the money is an abstract measurement of your economic success, but it really is just money. Just mechanically, it is money. We do love some MIDI. Yes, Delta we do like some MIDI, and I loved the soundtrack for the original Pharaoh. I've turned the music off for this just in case that crosses some kind of invisible line. Or I've actually managed to get most of. I think I've got the whole UI in. Oh, that's great because the aspect ratio wasn't right, but that's worked very well. No one cares about the aspect ratio, Lucas. Okay, so you build the houses and the guys come. Now, the first thing that people sort of have criticised about the game, look at these guys. If we're being honest, they do look a little bit mobile gamey. I mean, they look like they've got this kind of bouncing animation style that you see in ads for mobile games. You might have seen an ad for a mobile game at the start of this video because I don't live streams do ads, but if they do, you might have done. One thing that is really cool is they don't seem to have recorded re-recording the voice lines. So if you were really attached to the original voice lines, and I admit that I'm enough of a nerd that I actually am, then you'll meet some of your old friends. I like these cool hieroglyphic info panels. If you're a veteran player of Pharaoh like me, you're going to right click on everything. I'm right clicking right now. Nothing happens when you right click. A right click was how you opened up the context menu in the original Pharaoh. It does nothing in this game at all. So that's to get you. Oh, actually, I tell you what, there's a couple of other things. Yeah, and all about hunting. Thank you. There's a couple of other things to get used to, and some options that I think are really interesting. I'm not going to blather on about it. I'm not really reviewing the game, but for people who are familiar with Pharaoh, there are some different settings. So one of the things in Pharaoh was, in fact, I'll show you by obeying my orders. I'm building this hunting lodge, which is a building that needs workers, right? Makes sense. In the game as written, this little guy here would come out and he'd wander up and down the road, and as long as he got within a few tiles of a house, you'd have access to your entire worker. Even if it's the middle of nowhere and there's one single hut with 3 people living in it, he'd still have access to your entire workforce. What Pharaoh, a new era, lets you do is actually change it to a global labour pool. Because it functionally was. You'd have to build a little hut in the middle of nowhere for no reason. 4 people would live in it. And you'd have access to all, whatever, 500 of your actual workers. You can just get rid of that now, and as long as you've got the workers, they'll find their way there. I do it just for the sake of it. Honestly makes very little difference. It just makes my life slightly more convenient. This it allows age simulation. See, I think this is based on a tooltip from the original game, which used to say not enough citizens of working age are available, and I think that was a bit of an earworm in the developer's head. So now the population will age, and only workers of a given age range can work. Have I ever tried ancient Egyptian food? No. But a friend of mine got me a birthday present last year, which is called the Pharaoh's Kitchen, which has recipes from modern Egypt, but also recipes inspired by modern Egypt based on the ingredients we know they had in ancient Egypt. I have not yet tried those things. Actually, that's not true. There is one recipe I did try, which was for these sort of honey donut thingamies. I'm not sure they weren't really that Egyptian. I think they were actually Lebanese originally, but they were framed as Cleopatra loved these. And like, well, she was kind of an Egyptian, so. So we built a granary to store all the. I think the guy's going out to hunt ostriches. Look at them go. These ostriches are pretty patient about it, and if this is the same as the original, then the ostriches are actually immortal and inexhaustible. Don't care about that. Let's put Bazaar down Uh, yeah, what this is talking about is this whole game is based on walkers. It's based on building a building usually isn't enough. Most buildings will produce a little guy, a little walker, who'll come out, and as long as he goes near a house, he'll benefit it some way. So, the bazaar trade is a good example of this. The bazaar has workers, um, and they'll get some meat. Here we go. I'll make some meat. Oh, do you know what I've not done? Because I am a fool. I think I turned my granary off. That was not intelligent, particularly. Um, can I put my firehouse anywhere? I need an architect station for my granary. Excellent. Yes! Hi Zoe, it is an incredibly accurate historical simulation game. I mean, you can tell because I'm playing it and I'm a person of a very high caliber who would only ever play a historical simulation. I would never play something that was outright fiction. I set myself to a very high standard. Have I ever told anyone how much I loved Gods of Egypt? It's objectively a very bad film, and I love it with all my tiny, cold little heart. So here's the thing about granaries. That's actually really fun that I learned from a mission. We'll see it. We'll see it later on, but I'll let you folks in on the secret here. Um, it used to be that when you were farming, there's no farming on this level. You're hunting, but you see here, all this light area is um, the farming plane, and it used to be that if the guys were still harvesting from the fields when the flood came in, they'd just drown. If you've got guys with carts full of wheat, the floods come in and just whoosh, gone. And now the guys with the carts stand there all year long, and if the granaries are full, they wait. And as soon as the granary is emptied by this lady and her army of little kids here, um, the carts will make their way over. I just find that funny. You asked a question, Red Wizard Knight. What did ancient Egypt consider an adult? Um, I'm not sure it was a fixed age, and of course there's going to be variation across the eras, but it's generally thought that the age of majority was 15. I'm not going to keep governing. That was a tutorial mission. I do like the splash screen art. I think the splash screen art's really nice. And one little change that I love a lot about this screen, this is a screen that was in the original game, but it used to just show the city you were doing right now. This one shows the previous city you were in as well. I like that because it kind of gets across the geography of what you're doing. This isn't a very detailed map. I like this little timeline as well. I think that's cute. It's got to make slightly nicer houses in this. Oh, thank you, Zoe B, for the donation. That's fantastic. Armchair Egyptologist VTuber avatar. Yes, there are a lot of things about the Armchair Egyptologist little cartoon guy that you see sitting so handsomely in the bottom corner there that need to change. Um, uh, One of them is that this guy was designed by my partner with help from another friend of mine who's an excellent artist, and they collaborated together on the lines and the coloring just before the pandemic, just before I decided to stop, not stop shaving, but to stop clean shaving. Um, so this guy does not have my. It's not a crisis beard because I've had it for 3 years now. It's just my beard. He also doesn't have glasses. Which I do. I have glasses. So he will be updated. I don't think I'm ever going to be a VTuber, Zoe. And if you want your $5 back, because of the disappointment, I'd perfectly understand. Louis, hi Louis. The mod that puts it into ink. Well, the thing about me and hieroglyphs is my dark secret. Um, is that I'm talking, I'm not playing. This is too I'm too chilled out. Yes, we know. Yeah. Um, well, the thing is, I have been learning animate. I've been learning some of the Adobe things because my partner's doing a master's in media, and she gets lots of Adobe stuff for free as a student, which is very dangerous because it means when she's not a student anymore, we'll all be completely addicted to Adobe stuff. Their business model is highly predatory, but their software is top notch. Anyway, the thing about hieroglyphs is I did hieroglyphs at uni, and I was very bad at it. The difficulty curve was enormous. But I have a gift for um, the side of language learning that has to do with grammar and pattern recognition and stuff like that. I'm terrible at keeping vocab in my head, and the thing with hieroglyphs is you've got to not just keep vocab in your head, you've got to keep for want of a better word, the alphabet in your head too. How am I feeding these people? Hunting logic. Um, so I was quite bad at that. What am I doing? I was quite bad at that. But I learned the very, very basics of the grammar, and I learned the. I got quite good, and I'm still quite good at things like the names of pharaohs. So lots of the common elements of the names of pharaohs, the things you see all the time, like hoteps and things like that. I'm quite good at spotting those. So what I'm going to do, because I don't have to worry about uh, my recruiters being anywhere near my houses, am I going to produce an excess of food for no discernible reason? That was terrible. Yes, I am going to produce an excess of food for no discernible reason. So I'm quite good at reading hieroglyphs when I've got the time to get out my uh, dictionary, my Middle Egyptian dictionary. I'm just about proficient enough that when I already know what something means, because the translation's been provided to me, I can do things like color code stuff in my videos. Like if it's important that a sentence is broken down, I can usually just about do that. I don't always, as my long-time watchers will know. Um, right, okay, so they're fine. I don't have a bazaar. I don't know why it's called a bazaar. So they haven't changed a lot of the naming thing. But what I think one of the motivations of this developer was we're not actually doing a remake. It's not a remake. It's not a sequel. It's a remaster. So they've made some quality of life changes, um, but they have not really changed things like the fact that it's called the bazaar, which is just not. That's nothing to do with ancient Egypt at all. Can I make the city of Akhetaten in this game? That's an excellent question, and I love you for asking it. I don't know. Um, that would be obviously the new kingdom, which is quite far into the game. Maybe we'll find out together. I'm going to be honest. While I love Pharaoh, I have to admit I do tend to lose a little interest in it before I get very far in it. So while I've been playing Pharaoh on and off for the last 20 odd years. I've not really made it that far in. So you see, as he goes along, a little water carrier. Oh, silence, you're complaining. Their houses upgrade as they have access to fresh water. They'll upgrade again when. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, look, two little houses. I should have built one more. Is it too late to do that? Well, I'm not going to. I can't be bothered. And they upgrade more. This whole game is about getting as many workers as you can out of the same number of houses. So they need water, then they need food, they need religion, entertainment, they need supplies of goods like pottery and beer. There's another game that I was thinking of streaming called. What's it called? Builders of Egypt, I think. And I did. It's a Pharaoh clone, and I just didn't vibe with it. See, look, here she goes. She doesn't have much food, but she's just upgraded their houses slightly. And every time the houses upgrade, they get extra room for occupants. In the early few missions, unemployment doesn't really matter, but it will start to matter because people really don't like not having anything to do. And this is where it's not a simulation game. The concept of unemployment in ancient Egypt is kind of an unfamiliar one. There's plenty to do. Um, this guy's been kicked out of his home. Well, it's got loads of space. Where are you going? Yeah, the concept of unemployment didn't really make sense in the actual ancient Egyptian economy. Are they just leaving? Well, we sort of do. But you have to live here to get it. I'd love to be able to make Architatan. I think that'd be fantastic. I know you do get to do some very specific things. There's a mission where you get to build sun temples, which are such a very specific thing that they had in ancient Egypt that there are like a single digit number of them, or at least a very small number of them, and they're very, very unique. So there are people who don't like the phrase very unique, but I'm sticking with it. They're very distinctive, shall I say, buildings. So yeah, I don't know why it's going so. I'm going to speed things up. This is silly. I know what I'm doing with this. You get the ostriches. I've got to build meager shanties, which is these, and the key to that is food. Right now, let's mine some frickin' gold. I don't like the interface. I don't like this. This is nonsense to me. I liked the panel before. It was first of all, the panel before was hieroglyphs. I mean, honestly, when it comes to easy goals to score, you'd think using more hieroglyphs, you get built-in art, guys. Let's be realistic. Gold mines. Let's just lay down a few of these. Not many of the maps have gold mines, but the ones that do, it's quite difficult, not impossible, but it's quite difficult for your city to run out of money. Oh, Louis, thank you for the donation. Very generous of you. Gosh, everyone's being so nice to me. City Palace, yes, okay. Yeah, so speaking of contributing to the channel, I have to mention that I finally got bullied into finally bullied myself, I should say, into unlocking channel memberships, which differs from Patreon only in that it's for people who don't want accounts on other websites other than YouTube. And there's only one tier, and it's basically the same as being one of my wonderful scribe patrons on YouTube, on Patreon. Just YouTube really wanted me to do it, and I thought, just why not? Well, Louis, you may not have gotten any text in your super chat, but what text would you have written? We'd all like to see it, and I'll read it out for you. Louis says, could you explain the difference between studying hieroglyphs and studying ancient Egypt? Sure. So, I didn't study any ancient Egyptian history at university. I just studied the Middle Egyptian language, which was the dominant written language for a very long time. It's like the classical language. And so I was actually studying Roman history. I was doing a master's in Roman history at the time, and I happened to have some space free on my timetable, and they were offering a course in hieroglyphs, and I've always been an Egyptology nerd, can you tell? And I thought, well, when am I ever going to get a chance to get actual tutelage? There's loads of resources for people who want to learn hieroglyphs of varying quality, but when am I ever going to get tutelage from an actual Egyptologist? I actually got on really well with the course, and I got on really well with the professor. I did not get on well with the difficulty level of the work. But it was very stimulating. A lot of it did stay with me, to be honest. Police. Ooh. Yeah, a lot of it did stay with me. Some of the very basic principles did stay with me. Red Wizard Knight. People say that ancient Egypt's economy is like a socialist country's economy. Is that true? Right. So this is actually a common fallacy. Who wants me to do overlays? This is actually a common fallacy. Not accusing you of a fallacy. The equivalence between a controlled economy and a socialist economy are they're often conflated as the same idea, but that's not true. Socialist economy and controlled economies are both about the mechanisms of state having power over where resources go. But for example, with the pharaonic economy, which is what a very specific kind of planned economy called a palace economy, it essentially means that everything from every acre of land to technically every person is taken to be the direct property of, in this case, the pharaoh, the king. And it's not. I'm not an expert in historical economics, so I'm not going to say something like it's not dissimilar to feudalism. It's actually quite dissimilar from feudalism. Feudalism's a lot more detailed, a lot more refined, and in many ways a lot worse. With socialism, socialism does require economic planning, central economic planning, at least at the community level and possibly at the state level. Obviously, if you go up to something like communism, it's all done at the state level. The difference is that we're a palace economy still fundamentally distributes things to the 1%. A socialist economy is obviously geared towards the maxim of to each according to their need. So while there were things like unemployment that really weren't that much of a thing, I have to build a physician. I wasn't paying attention. There wasn't really a thing in ancient Egypt. Certainly there were people going hungry. Um, and certainly there were people with an enormous amount of privilege. I mean, for one thing, remember that diet varies massively by class. So it is simulated later on in this game, actually, to an extent, where your basic citizens, like at this level, might be living on hunted meat, like on this map. In some maps later on, I'll be farming grain or chickpeas or something like that. But the noble estates have gardens where they're growing things like fruit, and they also have domesticated livestock, which gives them a much more varied diet. A varied diet. I mean, I'm not able to give dietary science or health advice, but it is generally thought that a varied diet is good for you. Build a temple and 2 shrines to Bast. No problem. Let's put a shrine to Bast here. And let's give our mine workers a shrine to make them feel part of the family. So yeah, sorry. The difference between a planned economy and a socialist economy is essentially the purpose of the planning. Um, Pharaoh wanted to make sure that he had resources for things like um, big work camps. So when he's making pyramids and other large architectural projects, he wants to make sure that he's got resources to pay the people directly in his employ, because remember, they didn't have coinage, they were being directly paid by state granaries, bread and beer that was being produced by the workers and so on. Whereas a socialist economy will go, yes, we'll plan the economy, but we will make sure that but everyone gets what they need. So yeah, that's it. That took a very long time to answer that, but in fairness, I'm not Karl Marx or an actual Egyptologist. I'm neither an Egyptologist nor an economist. My armchair for my economist YouTube channel, which should not exist, is much bigger. I have to hide behind it. Look at this god art. She looks pretty imposing, doesn't she? Oh, she's giving me more food. I don't really need that. Build a festival square. There we go. Click pop. A shrine to baths. Who doesn't like baths? Overseers. Okay, I don't need... I'm just going to click here to hold a festival. I wonder which god I will honour. There we go. We'll have a festival to Bast. I don't need to speed things up a little bit. There's not much to do on this particular mission. Ooh. Okay. Let's build a juggler school. Oh, I didn't think about that. Yes, thank you, Bast. I did not think. Where can I put a booth? Can I put a booth there? Yes. Hooray, we did it. Another tutorial mission about slightly more advanced needs. I do have a video coming out. I had been making one, but the end of February suddenly got very, very busy. I'm going to be doing another of my misconceptions about ancient Egypt video. This time it's ancient Egyptian religions. That should be a lot of fun. Here we go. I think there's going to be a farming mission because it's on the delta, so I'm not expecting too much desert. No, it looks entirely green. Floodplains and farming. Okay. I really the phrase work camps is a thing from the original Pharaoh that obviously they haven't changed it because they're not changing things. But I don't know, guys. How do we feel about work camps? Let me know in the comments. Let's be bold. Let's be daring. Let's build lots of houses. Pop you there. Pop you there. Get a festival square up because we'll need that. I assume because it's a farming mission, we're going to be worshipping Osiris. Yep. Okay. Lovely. Right. So we need some farms. Figs. Oh, figs. That's quite luxurious. Egypt has always had a very, very diverse food culture, spectacular farmland. The whole Fertile Crescent, really. Don't think that's going to work. I might. That may be playing with fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8's enough to start, I think. They have to be connected by roads, of course. We all know our floodplain farms have to have a nice road network linking them. Right, okay, that'll do. Let's pop that there. Get some work camps. Like that. 2 should be enough. Firehouse. Architect. That's another firehouse. What did I do that for? It's not quite familiar with this interface. Nothing looks the way I'm used to. Again, hieroglyphs. It's really easy. Do hieroglyphs instead. Yes, Roswell and I think one of the things that really draws people to Egyptology, one of the many things that draws people to Egyptology is their religion. I think that, and I'm really am sort of speculating a little bit here, but I think that one of the reasons that it drew interest from Europe was because, of course, Egypt features fairly prominently in the dominant religion in Europe, and so religion is sort of the framing device around which we even understand ancient Egypt. An architect's post there, firehouse. I guess I could put a palace down, but I don't necessarily. Well, why not? Why not indulge in a quick palace? This is a very new kingdom-looking building, not historical simulation at all. Temples were very local. They weren't. There was no orthodoxy really at all in ancient Egyptian religion, at least not for the overwhelming majority of its history. And let's put a roadblock there. What else have I missed? I could probably if I put a roadblock there, I could probably put some entertainment there, couldn't I? And put the juggler school there. That way they can walk past all the houses. Any archaeological discoveries recently? Yeah, there have been actually. The thing about ancient Egypt, Egypt, is that it's going to take a very long time for it to run out of archaeology. Um, there are two things God isn't making any more of: land and ancient Egyptian tombs. But fortunately, the ancient Egyptians made quite a lot of them. And there have been some tombs discovered, some very old mummies. But I think they found the earliest artificially created Egyptian mummy recently, which is very interesting, and it's given us lots of insights into how mummification evolved as a process. Really, really great. Now, Overseer of the Workers. I love the Overseer of the Workers. They've changed the interface slightly in a way that I actually think is quite interesting. So it used to be you'd prioritize the different categories of worker from 1 to 9. You can actually have categories um, that are equal to each other. So I can put food and hygiene. Hygiene, by the way, contains the water supply as well as medicine. I'm not quite sure if that's the name I would have given that. But there we go. So I can have things sharing a priority. This actually gets pretty complicated once you start having industry, production buildings. It's a huge part of your economy. It's a complete worker sink. Ancient Egyptian history is a renewable resource. Well, it's a lot like nuclear power, in that if you do it wrong, it's intensely dangerous. No, in that, I guess it's not strictly renewable, but we're not going to be running out for a really long time. It's a huge period of history. Egyptology arguably covers quite a long way beyond ancient history, ancient Egypt, of course. One of the definitions of Egyptology that I personally like is that it studies any period where people were natively using hieroglyphs, and that covers around about the 32nd century BCE, right up to the end of the 4th century CE. There were still presumably very, very small and minor cults to the indigenous Egyptian gods, even while in the rest of Egypt, Christianity was flourishing. I mean, Egypt was arguably was the center of Christianity for a very long time. Even more so, perhaps in Europe we tend to think of Rome, but I think of Christianity as an Egyptian invention because I'm an Egyptologist. I'm an amateur Egyptologist, and I have no horse in the fight, so I can make outrageous claims about other people's religion with very little risk of pushback because everyone's so nice to me all the time. Everyone on the internet's just really nice. I'm not on Twitter anymore, so my overall experience of how nice people are on the internet has skyrocketed because you folks are currently my experience of people on the internet, and you're all being very nice to me. Just goes to show. So hopefully, when this floods, you'll see. Look at these. Now, look, I know that the little guys, the little not sprites, that's a very old fashioned term, are not universally popular. They do look a little bit, I don't know a better word for it. They look a little mobile gamey. And that's just the way of it. I don't disagree with that, to be honest. But the original Pharaoh's still there. Oh no, it looks like everyone's going to make it. Interestingly enough, what's he doing? What's this guy? He's just gone to work at the farm. Uh, uh, okay, well, I mean, yeah, yeah. To go back to the point of archaeological discoveries and how Egypt just isn't going to be running out. Oh, malaria, lovely. Um, One of the things that's so exciting about archaeology is that new methods for evaluating a landscape will turn up new things to study. There's an archaeologist in America called, is her name Lisa Parkak? I think it might be Lisa. I'm sorry if it's not. who pioneered a method of infrared scanning to find the foundations of buildings long buried in the desert, and found quite a lot of supposed ruined pyramids very deeply buried under millennia of sand and so forth. But not just pyramids, settlements. I mean, pyramids get a lot of glamour, and tombs get a lot of attention because Egyptian tombs have historically contained quite a lot of information, and if we're being particularly crass, a lot of, fancy stuff. Now, like what I can see here is that when the floodwaters are coming in, you can still see your farms. Now, I thought, okay, I can build farms even while it's flooded, and you can build roads. You can't actually build farms, but you can plan your road network. Whatever good that does you, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually particularly useful. But these eight farms are making all the food I need. Oh, my bazaar isn't buying food. That's so silly of me. What am I doing? What am I like? Very dumb. Oh well, that's okay. It's not like I've been playing this game for 20 years and should know better than to have a bazaar that's not allowed to buy food, right? Jesus. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. That's the bugger. Let's have a festival, because I think otherwise poor Osiris will feel neglected. He's feeling congenial. Well, he better. Can I build a couple of gratuitous temples to him? Just to keep... Oh, I better build a copse. There, copse. Let's give him a couple of temples. Let's put a shrine to Osiris down for the farm workers. They can pray on their way to the farm. Build a couple more shrines there. That should keep Osiris good and happy. Lovely. Start my industry. Right, industry. This is really the meat of the game. This is... Yay. Blessing from Osiris. That's nice. So this is where most of your workers will generally go. I'm going to build 2 clay pits. And I'm going to build some potters. I think I can get away with 4 potters. Like that. Let's build a storage yard. Put that there. Can you discuss your hot take around Christians? You're allowed to discuss your hot take around Christians. I will only ask that whatever it is, it's not insulting or anything like that. But yeah, absolutely, I'm intrigued whenever someone says hot take and Christians in the same sentence. How could I not be intrigued by that? Right, it's a storage yard set up, so he'll take clay. Although, to be honest, I think they'll deliver their clay to the potters first. Yeah, they do. I think they only use the storage yard. 18% unemployment. Not much I can do about that. A lot of people. In this level, unemployment I don't think matters that much. I don't think that they're going to... It's going to have a problem. I'm not even sure I have all of my... I do have all my overseas. That's interesting. He says I have a serious unemployment problem. Yeah, but what can I do? Make more I guess I could make more work camps, because they employ quite a lot of people. They employ 20 people. What do I... this tooltip's annoying, so it just disappears. 71 unemployed workforce. It's technically a lot. Okay. Well, I could build some work camps. What's my response to my economic crisis? Build some work camps. That's never good. Let's build a couple of those. Oh yeah. Well, look. Yes. Absolutely. It's definitely fallacious to infer that all so-called pagan religions perform human sacrifice. I think that there are instances of what is arguably human sacrifice quite early on in ancient Egyptian religion, but in a very specific context. There is some evidence that the very, very earliest burials are not really tombs, I don't think. The very, very earliest burials of local rulers might have included some servants to go with them to the afterlife, but it didn't take long for them to make little clay ushabti instead to do that. But certainly, I don't think there was any such thing as mainstream human sacrifice. Generally speaking, um, that just wasn't their bag at all. Beatification. I love beatification. Roman religion didn't hated it, hated human sacrifice. There was one instance where Rome was facing an invasion by a people that they were pleased to call barbarians, um, and a surprising amount of Roman public policy was dictated by a prophetic text written by a collection of anonymous sibyls. And in one of these particular texts, the recommended course of action was to bury, I think it was two Gauls at a crossroads, bury them alive. And even though they weren't Romans, and even though it was in the most direst of needs, I think they did do it. But it made everyone very uncomfortable because human sacrifice was just not something that at least it was not something that was part of the mainstream religion. There are debates to be had around whether things like executing prisoners of war as part of a triumphal parade might be viewed as a human sacrifice to Mars. Vercingetorix was killed ritually at Caesar's triumph, at which Caesar was, yes, this guy's going to stand here when the floods come. But he's not going to drown. He's going to be okay. Here he comes. He's going to be fine because it's only like knee-deep water. Look, he's fine. He's going to be okay. Unfortunately, because the roads are still there, when the granary empties, he'll show up. Have I not reached 600 population? What's this? What's wrong? Hardly any entertainment. What do you mean? What? What do you mean hardly any entertainment? I've got but tons of entertainment. More entertainment than you know what to do with. Why isn't that working? It's not working because that's not how that goes. It's not working because it can't work. Well, that's a reasonable answer, to be honest. You do it right. If I build a booth there. What? Have I lost the plot? Have I forgotten how booths work? Yeah, evidently. I guess I'll build another juggler school if it means that much to you. But I don't know what you mean by not enough entertainment. Ordinary cottage. Modest homesteads. Are you buying pottery? Yeah, you're buying pottery. Don't know. Okay, I don't know why that suddenly worked. The solution to complaints about entertainment is more workhouses. I mean, absolutely. Give them something to do. Okay, so the Archaic period. Interesting. This is when you've got numbered dynasties, but it's not the Old Kingdom quite yet. First couple of dynasties. Here we go. The first pharaoh. Who's not me. So you're not actually the pharaoh yet. You start off as just a local noble, and you become a pharaoh eventually. Okay. Multiple gods. Okay. Multiple ways to get in trouble. How many? Oh, 3 gods! Alright. Okay. First thing I do when I've got a big map like this, and look at this. Okay, here's another thing that's missing. You can't tell it's missing because my guy is here, but there is no mini-map. Okay? This is as far out as I can zoom. The map's quite big. There is no mini-map. Uh, I don't know why. There's plenty of space. You could put one here. You could have it so it can be clicked on and off. What's this? It'd be really embarrassing if that was a mini map. That would really embarrass me. But you could have one that can be slid up and down. But no mini map. Isn't that shocking? As the first thing I do is I go, how do I feed my people? It's farming. Okay. Grain farms. I don't have any way of crossing water. I will do later. I shouldn't need to. I can make clay. I can farm barley and make beer. Okay. That's fine. What are my objectives? It hasn't said. Okay. Now, it says here not to get into debt, but the thing is, I don't know a way of making money. I don't trade. I might unlock trade this mission. I'm not sure. Or I'll either unlock trade or taxes. There's no gold mines. No, that's just bare rock. They should have called the work camps temp agencies. Nice. It's not indentured servitude. It's a 0-hour contract. They're not at all the same thing. Wink. How far can I go with this? Pretty far. Okay, let's pop a roadblocks in there. I have to put my palace down here. I hate building the palace early, but can I put a? Oh, I can just about squeeze a palace in there. Fantastic. Okay, so what we need. I'm sorry about that. There's this motorbike in the background. Sorry about that. Okay, Festival Square. Pop you there for no reason. I'm going to build my second neighborhood and go down here somewhere. That's fine. That's not a problem. Let's get some houses down. And build some gardens. Oh, the gardens look nice. Look at this. I like that. That's quite cute. Right, let's do all the basic stuff. So I need butter, and I need to feed them, and remember to tell my bazaar to actually buy the items required to feed my people. Let's... Who's my patron deity? Okay, this is a really annoying thing. So, okay, in my build menu, this is a really specifically annoying thing. So, okay, Bast, Osiris, Ra. Okay, in my temple menu, Ra, Bast, Osiris. What what's that about? So I think this little icon here is supposed to tell me that this is my patron deity. I'm gonna have to build temples to all of them though. For now, because I've only got and I'll have to build a couple of shrines to Ra. Because as the patron deity, he does expect a little bit more. In fact, actually, we'll soothe his ego with a festival. Farmy. Let's do some grain farm. I can't do barley for some reason. Suspect it'll be revealed to me later. Can I do that? No, that's really annoying. Okay. Right, there we go. That'll do. Oh, do you know what I could have done? If I put my grain farm there so I can build a road leading out. Because I think I'd eight fig farms on the last map, didn't I? And that turned out to be plenty. So let's see, maybe it'll be plenty here too. We need a couple of temp agencies. Don't put temp agencies there. Goodness. Actually, I can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I don't need to send out what do you call them? I don't need to send out recruiters. Oh, why is the physician going there? That's really weird. Architects, police. What have I forgotten? Tell you what I've forgotten. I've forgotten entertainment. They don't have people streaming Pharaoh at them, so they have no entertainment whatsoever. It's a pretty dire existence, all told. I'll actually put my juggler school here. It's kind of weird. Is that enough to be getting on with? I think what I might do. It's pretty expensive, but it might be fun to put some plazas in there. Right, let's do the old-fashioned overseer. Stock and distribution 2, religion and entertainment 3. Everything else can stay where it is. No military in this mission, I hope. Right. Let's get me some citizens. Here we go. The city will offer you many things. Should I build another temple to Ra right here? Yes, I'm going to. He loves it. He loves temples to himself. I mean, one of the reasons for the diversity of ancient Egyptian religions is because they are, in a lot of cases, they were local deities who became centralized the more centralized Egypt became. Big example of that, and really important in the history of Egypt, was Amun, who was a deity local to Thebes. And when the Theban nobles overthrew the Hyksos pharaohs at the start of the New Kingdom, they credited Amun with the divine inspiration for their success. And yeah, and Amun became the supreme deity. And the interesting thing about supreme deities is that each new iteration of ancient Egypt, Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom, they all had their own ideas about a supreme deity. And the Middle Kingdom, because it arose from, and they all arose from warlords, but the god that was credited with being the divine sponsor of the Middle Kingdom was a god called Mentu or Montu. And Mentu or Montu became Montu Ra, and Amun became Amun Ra, because they still couldn't get away from fundamentally having the sun as at the pinnacle of their society. Oh, my granary isn't accepting grain. Seriously. I turned that option on to make things more convenient for myself, but I'm not sure how convenient it is. See, they're producing straw, which I have no present use for. You just use straw to feed livestock and make bricks, neither of which I think I'll be doing. I don't think I'll be doing bricks anyway. I haven't been told to build a monument, so it's unlikely. And so you end up with weird stuff. You end up with Amun as the supreme deity, getting merged with supreme deities from other pantheons. So when the Ptolemaic dynasty comes to rule Egypt, they go, well, Amun and Zeus are the same being, even though Amun and Zeus have just nothing in common at all, except that they happen to be in charge. Oh, I can build a dancer conservatory, can I? Not dancer, sorry, a musician conservatory. Oh, I don't know where I would put a bandstand. I guess I could put a bandstand in here. I'm having a booth as well. I'm not spoiling them, my goodness. During the time of the first pharaohs, the temples of the gods were made of mud bricks. You are absolutely correct. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Building in stone was a tremendous undertaking, and was not something that you saw done en masse until well, the onset of the Pyramid Age was the fifth dynasty. Temples and palaces. I mean, a temple was really a palace. Temples and palaces were built of mud bricks, and they were decorated, and they certainly weren't built as close to the Nile as your average home. See, this floodplain here that floods and it submerges the fields. In reality, this is where your homes were built. You weren't building your homes in the desert and trudging out to farm. Your homes were built right along the floodplain, and in some parts the floodplain is very wide. And of course, the flood is fairly unpredictable. You could easily find yourself flooded out of your home and having to build a new one. That could easily happen. In fact, there is a period of about 40 to 50 years where photography is easily done and where the Nile still flooded. And there's a photo I found ages ago, which is a wonderful photo. I think it's from the 20s, and it shows the Nile at full width at the Giza Plateau. Now, because the Nile doesn't flood anymore, the Nile is actually quite a long way from the Giza Plateau where the pyramids are. But in this picture, the Nile was right there, right up next to it. So you could see the huge difference it made having that down there. The gods really like me. I'm making a good impression on them. That's good. It's better than the opposite. Bast is useful because Bast can make the other gods like you. Keep developing your city. Do you want me to do pottery? Should I do pottery? Let's do some. Can I put a clay pit there? Yes. And why build one when you can build two at twice the price, to quote Contact. Right, so that's going on there. I'm inclined to build a couple of potters, 4 potters even. Don't know why again. Why am I doing 4 potters? I'm going to have quite a lot of people living here. I might even have a second neighbourhood, so it's potentially worth doing. And then a storage yard, which will accept some clay and some pottery. Don't click accept all, you just close the window, which is very, very counterintuitive. I mean, there's nothing wrong with building out of mud bricks, bearing in mind that a lot of the earliest tombs, the mastaba tombs, were built from mud bricks, and a huge number of those on the Giza Plateau are still standing, because, of course, the Giza Plateau does not see rainfall. And that there were so many mud bricks used in the construction of ancient Egypt, that modern farmers would hustle over to ruined sites and steel mud bricks to break down into fertilizer. Mud bricks are pretty useful as fertilizer because they have a high ratio of clay, they have sand, and they have a certain degree of rather ancient organic matter, which won't really have rotted because, of course, it's been completely desiccated. And so what you end up with is pretty good fertilizer. And this was such a common phenomenon that, in fact, there are specific laws against doing it. Am I going to get pottery? Oh, I need to build more plaza, don't I? There we go. Yeah, see, no one's going to the festival square. In the original game, they'd come to the festival and move around in a weird cross shape. In honor of Jesus, of course. An Egyptian citizen, if one takes one's Bible seriously. Literally went to Egypt to learn magic. I find that very funny. Right. It says keep developing my city, which is what I'm doing. I'm doing it. Yes, yes, yes. I feel an enormous amount of awe. Let us hold a festival for. Oh, she really like. Oh, whoa, whoa. Why are you apathetic, Osiris? Don't be apathetic. Love me. Yes. Beer. Barley farming. Okay, I know what I'm doing here. I've got very little cash left for this. TBH. But okay. We don't need that. Feels very bad to just demolish trees. On some maps, that's a really valuable resource. Okay, so I can support quite a lot of breweries. I don't see the point of going too mad with it, but I can definitely support 4. It'll be more than that. Let's build a storage yard. The gods do want to be loved, and in fairness to them, that's not unreasonable. They are helping me quite a lot. Okay, need some barley farms if I'm going to farm barley. I don't know if you're fully aware of the nuances of that, but that's the way the world works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's terrible, but it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, well, I guess it'd be symmetrical to have 8, even though I'm more than decently confident that 8 is too many. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what happens. According to my palace, just won't tell me. This tooltip's ridiculous. I'm not moving my. Oh my goodness. What's happening? Why can't I get information? Is the information literally disappearing because it's changing? That's. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't care about my ratings overseer. Where's my chief overseer? Employment. Unemployment of 30%. Ah, well, I've got good news for everyone. Have some work counts. I don't know. Just go with it. Yes. Yes. I'm not trading with anyone, Ra. You've given me a weird present. See, these houses are going to suddenly look a little bit fancy. Look at that sudden upgrade tree. Look at that. These houses are looking a bit fancy. They need supplies of beer. Oh, they're about to get supplies of beer. Look at this. Look at the thrum of industry here. Little guys. My trading partners are inspired. Great, they don't exist. Don't even have access to the world map. I don't even know the world's there. Here they come. That's a lot of barley. Oh, the brewery in the original version used to make a really, really satisfying noise. Ah, it does make a satisfying noise of like liquid being poured into a container. Look, that sounds really strange, but I promise you it was a really satisfying noise. Hopefully, we'll start getting some. Right, here we go. Look at this. These whitewashed houses. Mansion and personal. Oh, right. That's so strange. I've got tutorials for some really advanced concepts. I don't have to do anything with them. I'll just have to remember them for next time because I've already won. Um, okay, fine. I think we've now gone beyond. Men Nefer, known to us now as Memphis. Well, not known now as Memphis. Um, during the archaic period, yeah. Okay, fine. So I've got to build a small master. Okay, so we are actually going to be building tombs, spacious apartments, 1500, 1500 population. That's a couple of neighborhoods. Okay, okay, that's quite intimidating. But I'm ready. I'm ready. I promise. I'm ready. Yep. Yep. Pause. Stop. Everyone stop. Oh goodness me. There's a lot going on here. Okay. I really wish there was a mini-map. Okay, what are my raw materials? Reeds and clay. Can I make papyrus? Not yet, but I will be able to. Okay. Reeds and papyrus, that's interesting. Are they going to have me trading or am I going to be building schools? Because reeds and papyrus is normally really good news. Later on in the game, that's a really profitable resource. Chickpeas and barley. Okay. Right. A lot of green here. I've got some green along the river. And I've got this sort of oasis here. It's a bit of a generous term calling that an oasis, isn't it? Right, okay. I think I might be pushing my luck there, to be honest. I think I'm going to cut my losses because I don't believe I can get away with that. Okay. Roadblock, 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 roadblock. What are my gods? Oh, it's like 3 gods again. Who's my main dude? Ptah. Well, that makes sense. Ah, am I doing bricks then? Brewery. I'm not doing bricks. I'm not doing bricks? If I'm not doing bricks, that means I might be doing trade? Interesting. Okay. Temples. Ptah. Osiris. Bust. Put down a palace. A scribal school. Oh yeah, look, scribal school. Brilliant. That means I can put down a tax collector. We like that. Water supply. Bazaar, which I will set to be able to actually distribute food to people because people like to eat food. Deity opinion management in this game reminds you on some level of juggling relationships in a Japanese dating sim. I mean, so if you want to be even more reminded of juggling relationships in a Japanese dating sim, then my sibling in Christ, can I speak to you of the gospel of Zeus? Zeus is a game, another one of these Sierra city building games, and Zeus differs from Pharaoh and Caesar in that it's much less grounded. And one of the things I like about Zeus is you have a persistent city that you have a couple of persistent cities that you revisit over the course of the campaign. And one of the things Did I place a physician? I did. And one of the things you can do, have to do, I should say, is you have to attract a hero, Hercules. I think it's Hercules, or you might get a choice. I can't remember exactly. And you do this by fulfilling certain requirements, like your city has to have a certain amount of units, sort of thing, prosperity and whatnot. And you also build temples to the gods. And when you build a particularly advanced temple to one of the gods, it's a story point, and you end up with the favour of one of the gods or the other. I'm going to build a personal mansion so I can draw salary. I'm going to have a police to entertain me. Firehouse, architect's post. So anyway, I built the temple to Aphrodite in one mission, and in a mission after that, Ares is really annoyed, and I think it's Ares. Ares is really annoyed, and he comes. The challenge of the mission is sometimes he comes to just break your city. But if you've built the great temple to Aphrodite, then every time Ares shows up, Aphrodite shows up to tell him off. And he just goes. I find that really funny. So yeah, there we go. That's juggling god relationships, right? So they've got that. Did I build a water supply? I did. I built a physician. They've got entertainment. They don't have any entertainment, you know, any actual, you know, juggler schools or anything, but that's okay. Good lord. Ugh, that really annoys me. I am going to spend money doing this very stupid thing. Right, okay. Oh yeah, no, look, Zeus is interesting because it's so mad. Like it's really characterful, which I personally consider a bonus, but not everyone likes it. Why did I do that? The madness has taken me. Right, chickpea farm. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll start with that because I'm losing track. 7, 8. That'll do. If I build a roadblock there and there, then I can have my work camp. Sorry, my temp agency. And I can build my architect, and I can build my firehouse there. Does this game have a battle mechanic? Well, the original Pharaoh did. It was not very good. Essentially, you build forts, which have, you know, platoons that show up, and you just move the armies places, and they kind of fight in this really terrible way. And you can indeed send expeditions off to far off places, but you can only send them off to expeditions that you're commanded to. There isn't really an imperialism mechanic, which I do think is a shame. And I have I've seen some clips of the battle mechanics in this particular. If I build a granary, that's such a dumb place to build it, but I'm going to build a granary here. Because I'm going to have another neighbourhood up here and it needs to have access to it, and I think distance matters on that one. I have seen clips of the battle mechanic in this and it's worse. For one thing, I don't think the player has any control at all. I'm going to put a firehouse, even though it's strictly not necessary. Let's put my festival square here. I'm not going to build anything around here. That's just showing off. Okay, overseer of the workers, food, farming, hygiene, stock and distribution, administration, entertainment, religion. Okay. Meow, meow. I wish there were more expedition options, honestly. But you can go to far off outposts that are in trouble. But you can't go exploring on your own free will. There is a game. Has it actually come out? I've played a demo of it. Which is all about the old kingdom, and you can send your troops on expeditions in that. But I'm not sure how similar that is to how interesting that is compared to doing it better in here. That's right. I am faithful. I will hold a festival. I like to hold a festival to my patron god, but the truth of the matter is Ptah isn't that useful to me just yet. Oh, can I build a clay pit? Looks like I should get a head start on clay pit. Well, this is as good a place for industry as any. Yes, yes. Potter. The only Potter game I'll be streaming. That's a very dumb joke. Very, very bad joke. Okay. But no one minds. If you didn't like bad jokes, you probably wouldn't be a subscriber to my channel, to be honest. Yep. I know all about gods. That's fine. Stop telling me. A direct message from a god, and I'm just too busy to read it. Okay, we'll got some clay going on. No food yet, but is my bazaar purchasing things? Yes. Is my granary accepting things? No, it wasn't. That's shocking. Come on. Oh, I need to put some gardens. I don't have a source of income yet, really. I've got taxes. But I don't know how. Okay. No entertainment. Oh, I never actually built any entertainment. I was briefly shocked by the lack of entertainment and then realised that the reason for that is actually quite explicable. My own negligence. So let's build a juggler school and a conservatory. I love mechanics that punishes players for not taking the time to read the messages. So funny. They put like a secret a phrase in the message, and then another message comes up that says, "And what was the secret passphrase from last time?" And if you don't know, they smite you. I never read the messages. I am notoriously bad at this. When I play Stellaris, and I just never read the text. I just pick the options it wants me to pick, and I do it. I never know what it all means. They want beer. Ah, they already want beer? My goodness. Well, beer they shall have. In theory. Beery. No, that's a potter. Can't turn barley into pottery. And you're going to want a storage house. For beer. barley. Right. I built 8 barley farms. I'm reasonably confident that's too many. I want to try sticking to 6. 3, 4, 5. That will get me in trouble, so we'll do that. You do feel like you waste a lot of space on farmland, to be honest. But the roads take up an amount of space. Now, I do have a village palace, I do. And what's my unemployment? 3%. See, that's not many. But I've got an enormous amount of room. So I am actually going to build more work camps in advance of actually having people to fill the posts. Clicking the play button here does not unpause it, which I find so strange. Why is no one moving to my city? Nobody wants to live in our city. Well, that is very rude. I am doing my best. Why isn't that? Okay. We have barley, that's the important thing. I don't know why the plain's not flooding. How many people do I need for this? 1,500. Okay. Well, I need to build another neighbourhood then, won't I? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So I can only check that the tooltip disappears instead of updating. That's pretty irritating. Okay, you still need beer. Build a courthouse as well. Make sure you betrayal the gods just to worship some random orb and call it a god. Well, in fairness to the random orb, they always worshipped it, just not necessarily the same part of it. Oh, here we go. Education. That does not reflect my feelings on education. It reflects my feelings on having to do things. I don't want to build reed gatherers. I can do that. I'm going to go mad on it. Just build a couple. Because I'm not selling anything. Look, that's no way of making money. Unless doing this unlocks trade. Somehow. Look, in fairness to the random orb that is the Arten, they were worshipping it for a while. And there was this one guy who thought, I think if you've got an orb, you really don't need to be contemplating anything else. Look at them go. Buzz away, little bees. So I mean, this is Pharaoh. My goodness, it goes really quickly when you know what you're doing. It doesn't always seem like I know what I'm doing, but I definitely do. Build a scribal school. One scribal school. That will need papyrus, but that's okay. We'll have papyrus soon enough. Right, here we go. Oh, there it is. Right, I did think so. Right, trade. So here's our world map. We're a Mennefer, so this guy sells stuff. We'll do that later. I need to. This guy buys papyrus, so we open a trade route, a land trade route, no sea trade just yet, and we go to the this. See, right. So this is weird. See these little scales here. for the overseer of commerce. Yeah, it's the same scales for the courthouse. So that's slightly annoying. But we can export this. I'm going to export anything over 200. And in fact, if it's going to make us money, I'm going to... Did I build roads? I'm going to build more papyrus makers. I know I'm out of money, but that's because I've only just started being able to make money. Should I build more reed gatherers just in case? I'll build one just to see what happens. I like him. He's happy in his work. Import at least 800 bricks from Perwajet before beginning work on the sacred Mastaba tomb. Okay. Bricks, you say? We'll need quite a lot of. So, let's open a trade route to buy bricks. There's no way to get to the commerce advisor from that screen, which I do find a little bit weird. Import to maintain. Let's import to maintain 3,200. I don't think I can sell that many, but I have a major complaint about this game. Okay, this is the biggest problem with the game, and it goes like this: why does the trader only have one donkey? In the original Pharaoh, he had 3 donkeys, and I just want to know. Okay, it's not unreasonable to want to know why the trader has only one donkey. It is the trader's life for you. You're right. Get trading. Sell me things or buy things from me. I'm actually not sure. Oh, Ptah has taken offence at me. He's destroyed my potters. I don't know what I could have done. All right, okay. Stop. I don't know what I could have done to be nicer to him. Oh, actually I do. Need a brewer too. Oh, I think I could probably have done to build a second temple to him. Well, yeah. Have another temple then. How are my overseers doing? Oh no, he doesn't like me either. Bast and Osiris have got problems with me now. That's offensive. We're gonna have to ask Ptah for forgiveness. Two temples. Well, if they want more temples, they can have more temples. I'm a very, very devout follower of these fetching arseholes. Yeah, plenty of temples. Yeah, they've made a donkey that can hold 3 times as much stuff as the old donkey. Look at these fancy houses. Can't evolve until the desirability of the area improves. I mean, that is so rude. See, now he likes me. Okay. Right. So here is where we build our first monument. Ooh. We build a mastaba tomb. Now I think I'm going to need more human beings. So let's build a mastaba here. And that's the end of the tutorial. That's it. Now, for some reason in this version, I've seen some people build roads. to their monument sites. So, didn't used to have to, maybe I do. I am going to build... What's my unemployment situation? I need workers. Wow, okay. So, I think the answer to that is... No. The answer to that is to make a new neighborhood. I'll build another temple to Ptah. Gods love temples. Okay. Because I need more people to complete the mission anyway. Let's make sure we tax them, because screw them. Put a bazaar down that can buy goods, because that's always important. I think, is that everything I need? Oh no, haha. People don't want their houses burning down. So, there's that. What else do I need? Oh, entertainment. Oh, that's not the best place for that, because... the entertainers should really pass by as many houses as possible. That's the trick to that. Okay. That's there. That's fine. In fact, I know what I might do. I might put the temple at the end of that road. That's quite cute. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. What does the neighborhood have? Did I put a tax collector down? Don't know if I did. Oh, I did. Tax collector school, I don't really care about. Okay, I think they've got everything they need. Stop doing that. So I need to build more work camps. I know my city needs more workers now, but it won't forever. My bricks are there, so it's not that bad. And that's cool. They go and dig out the site. And then they immediately vanish into the mists. Hooray. Hooray for clay. I find monument building oddly satisfying. Like all of the economic stuff you need to have in place to do it. Do I actually need that many construction guilds? One thing that's different, what grave goods do I need? Yeah, I don't have any. I don't need to dispatch any grave goods. Okay. That's fine. I think this is it. This is the last tutorial mission. Then we've learned everything we need to. Then we're geniuses. Certified pharaohs. It's pretty good. An extreme mix of different house types. What's your problem? You need a magistrate from a courthouse. That can be done. I love brand new neighborhoods like this. This house is basically squalid. And this is almost a mansion. It's quite funny. It's all just dependent on the market trader making it past as each good becomes available in the bazaar. My treasury bleeds money. Be silent. It'll be fine. I'm selling plenty of stuff. My granary's empty. That's not a common... I will deliver beer to you immediately. We like that sort of thing. Oh, delivering beer is good. In a mission like this, if you've got a thing like you've got to build a tomb and you fulfill requests to your... Why are they leaving? Well, that makes sense. I can't fault you for that. Because when you fulfill requests, there's a decent chance I'll get some free bricks. It's really annoying. This button should resume the game. A nearby building housing is having a detrimental effect on the desirability of the location. There we go. Bricks. Free bricks. Do you want a random statue? I can build random statues. Would you like this completely incorrect for the era ram statue? It's not, I'm not that in debt. Look, I make loads of money. In theory, if someone actually buys my goods, the master was complete. Oh, goodness. And that's that. Look, we did it. We didn't build that. Ooh, Timna. Okay, so we're actually going outside of the Nile Valley for the first time. We're going to go to a mining settlement. That's quite good. Meager shanty. It's a micro home. It's just it's not a mud brick shanty, okay? It is a handmade Adobe micro home. It's pretty good. An expedition to Sinai. Here we go. We're going to build what I assume from the fact that it's Timna is going to be a mining colony of some kind, possibly with some military, which is the only aspect of the game we haven't visited yet. Recruiting troops and equipping slots. Stop. Things get very complicated where that sort of thing is involved. Okay. Yeesh. Okay. Got lots of so these veins here, you'd be forgiven for thinking they were gold, but they're not just gold. They're also copper and gemstones. Gold. Okay, right. Okay. I have a plan. It's an odd plan, but I want to make sure that my city is as prosperous as it can be early on, because where military stuff's involved, it's actually very expensive a lot of the time. So that's why I'm putting the palace here. The palace is close to the gold mines, is favourable. Slightly annoying, but I don't mind that much. I take it we're not farming, we're probably hunting. Yeah, we're hunting. Okay, fine. I like hunting. It involves very little work on my part. Gold mines. Okay, so I just do gold mines across this whole thing. I think that's 10. Well, I know I need employees now. But fear not. Soon we shall have our fill. Put that there, get an architect post, and then that should be everything this operation needs. Let's get some houses down. few gardens. I think with all this gold coming in, we might find ourselves reasonably profitable. Hopefully only one god, which will be Seth. Not Montu, but if they've made it Seth, that's fine. What entertainment have I got? Oh, they want me to do big entertainment. I can do big entertainment. I can put a pavilion down. In fact, I'll put a pavilion down and put my personal mansion there. How then? Where are my other neighbours going to go? Because that will tell me where I'm putting... Probably another other neighbour's going to go in here, isn't it? So that tells me this is going to be my hunting area. This is going to be probably my copper mining and military area. So it makes sense to have... I know I'm out of money. I'm not going to be forever, am I? 2 hunting lodges. A granarium. And a bazaar. Make sure they accept everything. Did I put down a source of clean water? And if not... I built so far. I've built so far away from the water supply. That's a unique idea that I've never had before. Oh well. I bye. Can I put my personal mansion? Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, for heaven's sake. Well, I'll put my personal mansion somewhere else. This very fancy pavilion is going to lead to my water supply instead. Let's get a physician down so no one dies. If I put the roadblock there, then I can put my festivals. Ooh, that's a terrible place for a festival square. Is it? No. It's not great. It's not great. But I'm going to do it because you're not my supervisor. I know I need employees. That's sort of the thing I'm doing right now. Technically, I need a police as well. Right, okay. Oh, I didn't do my overseer of the workers. 1 for hygiene and food farming, 2 for stock distribution administration. Administration, by the way, the reason I put administration is so high is just because it includes the firehouse and the architect's post. And if you don't, everything falls down. 3 for entertainment and religion. 4 for production buildings, then we'll see. Here they come. Hopefully we shall have a vigorous gold mining operation very soon. Basically, you get 1 gift of gold if you run out. And then nothing after that, so I do need to get this gold mining. Here we go. Oh, there's no road on that one. So that's 1720. Great, okay, fab. It's quite profitable then. Shouldn't have too much of a population explosion. But now I've got to deliver copper. Problem being, I don't have any copper mines. We're going to have 4 copper mines. Like so. I think I'm going to put a roadblock like that. So we need storage yard, which is going to take half copper and half weapons, since I assume I can make weapons. I must be able to make weapons. So half copper and half weapons. Get those. They'll be up and running soon enough. Military. That means I have to do military. I need a recruiter. And I need weaponsmith. I think I'm going to build 4 weaponsmiths. So military is going to go with production buildings on 4, I think. It's going to have to be. Let's build some forts then. Oh, they look very different. So I'm going to do 2 archer forts. I know I'm in debt. Oh, actually, am I? Okay, I'm in quite a considerable amount of debt. We'll let the gold mining do its job. So the gold mining is rescuing us very easily. Okay, that's fine. I don't feel bad about that. Actually, in fact, the amount of time it takes for the mines to finish. Look, the carts get back to the mine and then immediately come out again with more gold. So I've actually built the palace at a pretty good distance. I know, and I'm going to. Oh, actually, I'm not, because I foolishly forgot to stockpile my copper. Stockpile copper. Oh my goodness, nowhere's taking copper. Seriously. Wait. Yeah, except up to half. So why are you sitting on... Because you're delivering it to the weaponsmiths instead. That's annoying. I'm stockpiling it, and as soon as I've got that 5th bunch of copper, we'll be well away. Right, overseers. Probably the political overseer, right? There, boom. Haha, just in time. On the kingdom rating there. So now I can go back to my commercial guy and stop stockpiling. Go back to actually making weapons, which is useful. See, archers don't need weapons. Interesting, you can build bows later on. When you get wood. That's really cool. That's really cool. Love it. But I can't seem to control them. I think that reflects what I've seen from clips, is that it happens automatically and it's deeply unsatisfying. It was never a really good part of the game, though, to be honest. It was always a bit pathetic. Why are you not improving? Oh, because you don't have enough food. Well, yeah. That's fair. Let's build a couple more. Yep. Now I can immediately fulfill an order for copper. Let's get 2 more hunting lodges. Great. I love it when kingdom rating rises. Hold a new festival. Yeah, celebrate Seth. He's great. And hopefully he'll strike down the enemy army. How much we know about ancient Egyptian mining technology? So they did an awful lot of trading for mining stuff. They did have mines, they did have quarries, but the thing that limited them is that they were, for a large portion of this time period that we're in right now, it would be generous to even call them Bronze Age. They did not have at this time much access to gems. What? They didn't have at this time much access to tin. So their tools, if they were metal tools, would be copper, which is terrible. Or at least it's not as good as bronze. If you are a big fan of Armchair Egyptology, then you might have seen conversations with some lovely chaps in my comments who make all sorts of claims about the limited tool availability that the ancient Egyptians had, and how this proves that they had outside help building things. Because copper tools couldn't possibly have cut certain kinds of stone and so forth. But it turns out that actually the ancient Egyptians were jolly clever, and they recognized the power of abrading substances. It turns out that one very effective abrasive substance is sand, because it's the vast majority of the constituent of sand is little balls of quartz. Um, Quite hard, and they have a lot of sand, and because of the grain of it, it generates a lot of friction, and so even with copper tools, they were able to cut quite hard stone. I don't think I've got much use for gems, so I think I'm going to build a. But we do know that they sometimes missed out on lots of opportunities. So this has me mining gems. Now, the ancient Egyptians um, used a lot of what we now would call so-called semi-precious stones. So you shouldn't be thinking sapphires, emeralds. Oh, really? Oh, so annoying. You should. That's really irritating. What am I going to do about that? I think I have to build a storage yard down here. So you shouldn't be thinking sapphires, emeralds, diamonds. You should be thinking turquoise and things like lapis lazuli, of course, though that wasn't from Egypt. That was from Afghanistan, modern day Afghanistan. What we do know is that there were copper mines somewhere called Kerma, which were later discovered during the Ptolemaic era to have emerald deposits, which the ancient Egyptians, I can only assume, didn't know about, because I think it'd be a bit of a stretch to say they didn't care about it. Right, let's accept the gems. I'm not sure. How many gems do I need to fulfill the order? 1,500 gems. Are you joking? Oh, I don't have that many mines. How long do I have to comply with that? 11 months. Okay, might be okay. I love the way they make their way down the road like the lance. Okay, well, that might be enough. I can't stop mining copper because I need weapons. A Bedouin army is coming in a year. This guy's doing sit-ups. Fine. Maybe we'll be fine. I have to deliver Debans. I can do that. A Deban, by the way, in real life, is a measurement of weight. Like drachma was a measurement of weight that became a name for the currency. Um, Oh, I've already got 1,200, so I will soon have the 1,500. Okay, that's good. We have no requests for any men. Have I lost the plot? So something's gone awry here. They have no copper, but I'm not stockpiling. I am stockpiling copper. Oh no. I'm glad I noticed that before things got too far. I hope they haven't gone too far. I've got a year. I will accept chickpeas. Did I have room for chickpeas? I did have room for chickpeas. Can I comply with the gemstone request? Yes, I can. Fantastic. Well, things are looking up for Timna. In fact, with one of my favourite archaeological sites in Egypt is I'm going to call it a basalt quarry, but I might be wrong about that. I'm not a geologist. Among the many things I'm not is geologist. It's either a basalt quarry, it might be a granodiorite quarry. Anyway, whatever. And it's where they cut out obelisks. Now, Egyptian obelisks, overwhelmingly, not universally, but overwhelmingly, were monoliths, single piece of stone that they hewed in the rough obelisk shape straight from the bare earth. And you can see this site. Where is it? I can't think where it is. But you can see an obelisk mostly carved out of the rock, and it's cracked fault line. No way of predicting a fault line. It just sometimes there's a fault in the stone. You don't find out. Or you find out when it breaks. and they just abandoned it and moved on to a site nearby and started again. But we've got this intact, partially carved out obelisk, and it's one of the most fascinating sights for me. I love incomplete stuff. Incomplete stuff is so it's so insightful into the process. If you watched my video about Horemhab, the last pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, his burial chamber was incomplete. And oh, trade routes. I haven't been trading. His burial chamber is incomplete, and as a result of it being incomplete, we can see the processes that were undergone to complete it. Right, what does Menefo want? They buy gems. They buy jewelry. Can I make jewelry? We'll find out. They buy copper. I can sell some copper. They buy papyrus. I don't think I can make papyrus, can I? No, I can't. Okay. I can't make gems either. Okay, so let's do some trading. I will export some copper, but I'm going to keep 400 just so I can keep my weaponsmiths stocked. I'm going to export gems. I'm actually going to keep 800 gems just in case I get a request for gems. And I can export weapons. I feel fairly safe exporting as long as I've got, I guess 8 weapons. I mean, I need them right now. I need them right now, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. This city's actually going to be ridiculously profitable, I think. Gems go for a fair amount. Whoa, 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 wait, yo, whoa, wait, yo, whoa. Petard, oh, bro. Bro. Okay. Well. Have a second temple. You can have a temple here as well. Just please don't destroy my weaponsmiths again. You want me to have a successful army, buddy. I'm successfully cowed. Let me build some shrines. You love that. Yes, some shrines. Did I do a festival? Here, have a festival. Well, that army is going to be here soon. I've got 1 month. Oh no. Okay. We'll see what it's like. I've got two battalions of archers. Okay, here we go. This is what the fighting looks like. Are you ready for this? You know, if you've played Age of Empires or an actual strategy game people play in the year of our Lord 2023, you might not be ready for just how sophisticated this is. This is it. I have no control. I'm clicking. No. We vastly outnumber them, whatever that means. Can I zoom? No, we're just watching this. I can skip it, but I'm going to show it to you. They walk right past these guys who are just walking into my arch. Basically how it looked in Pharaoh, except that they ran around like spiders. I like this cool animation at the top here. Are those Hittites? Looks like they've got iron weapons. This is 2847 BCE. So there are still stone-tipped arrows and spears. This guy's holding a chepesh, which is not right at all. Look at this. Isn't this scintillating? I might skip this because of how terrible this is. Those enemy melee dudes just walked into my archers and vanished. What? Anyway, I win. It's... Oh, Jesus. Okay. That's it. That's what it is. I hope you wow, thanks, Seth. So that's that. That's what battle looks like. I had no say over it, which isn't that different to Pharaoh. In Pharaoh you did. In fact, in Pharaoh it was terrible because You wouldn't always know where the enemy army was going to arrive. They're here in 9 months. That's okay. Oh, Royal Scholar Armchair. That's amazing. Do I have objectives to do with population? 2,000 population. What do you want? No entertainment? Oh, I never built any entertainment. Oh. Put it here. Oh no. Oh, that's really bad. Don't do that. Oh, I didn't build any entertainment. Let's put a conservatoire and a dance. Look how big that is. I like the dance school. It's got this cool stage and the dancers come out. Let's talk to one. That's a juggler. Worker shortage? Talk to me. I do not have a worker shortage. Didn't think I did. It's outrageous. I know about the Bedouin army, but it's fine. I've got an even, and now I've got a full army. Now I can start selling some of this sexy gear. Okay. Will you protect my soldiers here, though? That's sort of what I'm after more than anything else. Oh, don't worry. I'll skip the next battle. I think you've got the gist. I don't think you need to see it again. Okay. Okay, fine. I won. That's that's stupid. They just walk so slowly. It's like, oh, you're here to conquer me. Show some enthusiasm. God damn it. Enemy on another enemy on our territory. Oh, this is quite tense though. Look. I just want to see what happens. The melee guys should really go up against these melee guys. They are ignoring them. There's no, just it was like two galaxies moving past each other and none of the stars touching. Yeah, that's it. They do develop a skill level. So victory. We lost an infantry. An infantry is a person, as you know. Seth is going to help us next time. He promises. Okay. Oh, I'm making bank. Look at this. Oh, yeah, you can have some money. I've got tons of cash. Now, I need a second neighborhood. Because I need 2,000 people to live here. How is that ever going to happen? Perfect. Right, let's put a roadblock in. It's probably going to be too many people, but I'm gonna try. I assume the historical Seth was just as petty and fickle as this one. Well, the interesting thing about Seth is Seth's role in ancient Egyptian religion is complicated and difficult to discern. His role in mythology is villainy. He might be history's first treacherous uncle. He might be history's first usurping brother. I think I'm just going to build a normal bandstand here. Oh, I can put my personal mansion down at last. Personal mansions accrue income and you take it with you on each mission, so it's pretty handy. Let's build a temple to Seth. Let's collect some taxes. We need a bazaar. So there's actually a really interesting couple of pharaohs who, if you remember, ages and ages and ages ago, I did a video about the names of the pharaohs and how the earliest pharaohs took the title Horus, essentially as the incarnation of Horus. Like for example, there was a pharaoh called Aha, who's also known as Hor Aha. They take Horus as a title, but there were a couple of pharaohs that instead of taking Horus as their title, they took Seth. So he would go. There was one called Peribsen, who was known as Seth Peribsen because he was for whatever reason, he was his patron god was Seth. Have I got a physician? Physician. I need architect. I need a firehouse, and I need a copse. I haven't had to supply any pottery actually. I haven't had to supply any pottery. Can I supply pottery? I can. I'm not going to. I'm sort of out of spite, really. Set's weakness is special ranch. You're goddamn right. Better not discuss why, really, but yes, absolutely. He's really, really, definitely going to strike down the next people who violate my territory. So I feel pretty confident about that. In 1 month, I'll get a delivery of chickpeas. I'll tell you one interface improvement is this countdown to the next month. See, on full speed like this, the months do go by pretty quickly. In Pharaoh 1, you really just didn't have much of a clue. So when you get a notification like, we're going to try and deliver you a gift in 1 month, you sort of scramble and panic. I will build a granary, which will accept chickpeas. If it doesn't fill up with game meat in the meantime. It didn't. Fantastic. Okay, there we go. Chickpeas. Lovely. Did I tell my bazaar to accept food? Haha. No, I forgot to, because I always do. I can turn that option off so easily, but I still contend it's useful. I know, Seth, I know that, but are there more enemies coming? They need 1,500 copper. Okay. So we're going to stockpile copper. Shouldn't take us too long, actually. Means we're not been trading it, but the city's profitable without it, so I don't really feel bad. There we go. Copper. Oh, that's it. I think. Yep. Perfect. And we were close anyway. Back to using and trading. So many weapons. I know, Seth. I know that. A collapsed building? What silly thing have I done that's resulted in a collapsed building? Collapsed copper mine. Did I build an architect's post? Oh, for goodness sake. I'm sure I had. That's so silly. Right, let's put a copper mine in its place. How are you feeling about me, Seth? You're sympathetic to me. Do you want to be really super sympathetic? How about this cool festival? My bazaar trader just isn't that enthusiastic about getting food. To this part of the world needs food, please. Now, one thing they've done is that the houses have a limited amount of food that they can store. Oh, there are 2 food types. I think that's the problem. Well, they won't be for much longer because I don't have any more chickpeas. Could I do with more hunting lodges, maybe? How could it hurt? Yep, I get it. You like me. There, I'll double my number of hunting lodges. That should keep everyone satisfied. Oh, your leavings of the unemployment. I get it. I do need to employ... I have work camps. Oh, what's this now? You've collapsed? What business have you collapsing? Did you collapse or did you burn? I don't know. Oh, that's so irritating. Didn't even notice that happening. Storage yard. Accept all gems. Need more things for people to do. No work camps, man. Okay. Can I just build a load of temples? How much temples? 8 workers for a temple. It's not very good, is it? Can only build 12 for a weaponsmith. I could just make loads of weaponsmiths. What actually is my problem here? Well, yeah. Right now, not that bad, but do forts take up? Not really. I could just build loads of weaponsmiths. It feels really weird to do, but they just need something to do. You want to know what animal set is based off? Ah, well, yes, indeed, you and everyone. It's not at all clear, is it? There have been lots of suggestions. Lots of people like donkey. But his head doesn't quite match the way donkeys are depicted. Traditionally. There are all sorts of answers. He could be a hybrid creature, but the truth is he's such an early deity. They didn't really do that. They didn't make anything up. Look at him. What is that? What's going on there? It's all very strange. But then again, sometimes we get the animals wrong. To this day, if you ask people what animal Anubis is, they will rattle off that he's a jackal god. But in actual fact, it's an Egyptian wolf. It's not a jackal. It's just a made-up animal. It's just the Egyptian wolf. They just happen to be fairly skinny. It's got loads of room, but no one wants to live here. Because I've got no... Ooh. No one employed. Does that mean I need workers? That's fine, because I've got loads of room for them. But no one wants to live here, I'm guessing. If I asked the overseer of the granaries, they'd say... Nobody wants to live in our city. High taxes keep people away. Get out. I guess I could actually set a very low tax rate, couldn't I? I'm going to set a really low tax rate. Am I going to turn Timna into a tax haven? Just no taxes. Just come and earn. Do you know what I am? Screw it. It makes me so little money. My income last year from taxes was 630. It made less than a tenth of what my exports did, and less than a tenth of what my mined gold did. So we'll just come to Timna, have a tax-free existence. I tell you what I could do if I really wanted to make more money and also have more people employed. How'd I do? Let's build a conservatoire. Build a conservatoire here. Then I can extend my mining operation around here. It's pretty annoying. I can't, of course, bridge over these sand dunes. That would be obscene. So I can build more gold mines. That's 10 more gold. I just doubled my gold output. Of course, these are going to be so far away, it's not going to be very efficient. But I don't mind that. Efficiency is not really the problem at the moment. I've got so much brute force going on with my economy. Don't really need the money for anything, but it's fun to be able to fulfill these requests. Architect's post down there. Ugh. Time to stockpile copper again. Make sure my industry hasn't shut down, which does sometimes happen. For no reason, because buildings collapse. Look at these weaponsmiths for no reason. Absolutely unjustifiable arms manufacturing going on at Timna. You think I should build another fort just for the sake of it, because I've got all the weapons? Well, I do. There. They did have forts. They did. There's plenty were built during the Middle Kingdom. They really started doing border defense stuff, and they did build castles. I mean, we'd call them castles if they were in Europe. That looks like enough to fulfill the request. It is. A Bedouin army. Now, I shouldn't need to intervene here because Seth has promised to take care of my next invasion for me. I love this Pharaoh at the dinner table going, let me tell you about Royal Scholar Armchair, who is my favourite one. Basically runs Egypt's entire military-industrial complex. Yep. Well, look, we're getting up to 2,000. Yes, boy. What are my objectives? Prosperity rating 15, kingdom rating 70. I need... Oh, right. I still need more kingdom rating. That's mad. Should I send them a gift? A Babylonian tablet? A slightly better quality Babylonian tablet than this one? There. Oh, that should do it. It does it instantly. No, I'm going to keep governing because I want to see Seth striking down my foes. We didn't invest all this in our devotion to Seth to not see him strike down our foes. Okay. A weird iconography for victory. It's got a Roman laurel wreath, but also a little Hepari beetle. We say Hepari, I think it was Achbari, based on cuneiform. You want me to do what? Send you weapons? I can do that. Stockpile weapons. How many weapons, actually? What did you ask for? 10. 10 weapons. What? I have 15 weapons. What do you mean? Maybe I... Oh, they were just buying them in that second. Oh, I see. I couldn't understand what was happening there. Right, carry on. When are these buggers getting here to try and take my city unsuccessfully, I might add? I've taken this pattern of building houses like this, and I actually don't think that's how I used to do it in Pharaoh. I used to build these discrete little housing blocks. I can't remember how to do it. I might try and see. I made an Excel spreadsheet a couple of years ago, 5 years ago now, for the ideal city block. It's very nerdy, but we'll see if it still works. So they are coming. They'll be here in July, and hopefully we will see Seth. Look at this! He's delighted to slay those who are foolish enough to threaten my city. They don't even arrive. He just appears on the horizon and zaps them like a Palpatine. That's incredible. I love that. Well done, Seth. Okay. Okay. But they're still here, though, right? Is he going to show up in this little battle simulation and... Because I can see them. Right? They're just here. They're not all dropping dead. I guess I'm going to continue and see what happens. See, we did lose people, so I don't know how Seth really helped. Anyway, we succeeded. Ooh, I've got a choice of mission. Let me just see if that's safe. So, we've got a choice of mission, and because I've got a choice of mission, and I've been going for 2.5 hours, I think we'll bring this gentle little stream to an end. And I really hope everyone had a lovely time. We've basically done all the elements of the game now. There'll be some specific things to do later on, but now that we've done the military side of it, we've essentially covered all of the elements of the game. And that's it. Yeah, so everything is now new to me. I mean, a lot of the missions are going to be very similar to ones in the original Pharaoh. The mechanics are all the same. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, or if this is your first time encountering Pharaoh, I hope you found it as charming as I always have. Look at this lovely opening screen here with the little boats on the Nile. Isn't that lovely? We love that. I guess that's it. Thank you so much for showing up, and thank you for chatting. And thank you to everyone who did super chats. That's a new one on me. That's really generous of you. I really appreciate it. I don't know how regularly I'm going to be doing these streams. I'd like to try to do one a week. But I've got a very busy time coming up, so maybe they won't all be as long as this, but I'm going to try to do a couple of hours each time, so it's worth your time showing up. And because I know that not everyone can come, right at the start or whatever, and I don't want people to miss out, I'm going to keep these up in a little playlist for anyone who for some reason would ever want to rewatch them. I did say that I've got memberships, and that one of the membership perks is member only live streams, but don't worry, I'm not going to be disappearing my Pharaoh playthrough behind a paywall. That's for when I have enough members to make that sensible, and it'll be for other stuff, and there'll be a really easy way for you to watch those. But don't worry, for the time being, you can enjoy me sedately panicking about copper for free, which really is just the perks of YouTube existing. So yeah, thank you all for showing up and chatting and all that lovely stuff. You're a wonderful, wonderful bunch. There will be a video soon, I think next week. I just need to get back into my routine so I can... it's largely made. I just need to do the last few steps. Unfortunately, they are also the longest steps, but look out for notifications on my community page and on my Discord. If you're on my Discord, come on my Discord. It's fine. I'm on there occasionally. To be honest, everyone else on my Discord is much more active than I am, contributing memes and whatnot. I shall try to be better at that. But until next time, my fellow armchair Egyptologists, you know the rest, and have a great night.